But luckily for us, Lorenzo did love to spend great sums of money on art and artists, and it was under his aegis that such great artists as Michelangelo Buonarroti and Sandro Botticelli were exposed to humanist thought and Neoplatonic teachings. The love of the classical is evident in such works as Botticelli's Allegory of Spring, with its pagan figures and Venus at the center. Michelangelo was particularly adept at depicting both the sacred and the secular. Though he considered himself a sculptor, and indeed his best works, though this is debatable, are in sculptures such as that of the Pietà or David, he was also commissioned to paint. The ceiling and altarpiece of the Sistine Chapel are undoubtedly his most famous painted works, frescoes, but to my mind it is his depiction of the Holy Family in the Donitondo that best expresses the blending of sacred and secular that one can find in Renaissance art. The figures are heavily muscled, reflecting Michelangelo's preference for sculpture, and indeed reflecting his study of such classical Greek and Roman sculptures as models. But the vibrant color and the intimacy of the work and details, such as the Virgin's bare feet touching the earth, give the sacred figures a sort of tactile approachability. A wall separates the realm of the sacred, of the family, from that of the nude, presumably pagans, in the background. St. John the Baptist, the elfin-like figure on the right, leans against the wall, sort of a transitional figure belonging to neither to the pagan or sacred world. It is a powerful combination of sacred and classical ideals, and must surely have pleased Agnolo Doni, who commissioned it from Michelangelo as a gift on the occasion of his marriage to Maddalena Strozzi, who was the daughter of a family more than rich enough to rival the Medici. Therefore, by the time we come to the death of Lorenzo in 1492, a thriving community of scholars, artists, musicians, and other learned figures had gathered around the Medici, as indeed they did at the homes and courts of other leading and wealthy figures, not only in Florence, but in other Italian city-states across Europe as well. Michelangelo would go on to execute some of his most famous works at the papal court in the next century. In fact, keep an eye out for him when we read the autobiography of Cellini in week 6. But what do we make of the Renaissance, then? Was it a period, or a movement, or both? How much of a rebirth was it? Was it purely an elite phenomenon? We can try to keep these and other questions in mind as we do our readings and post-discussion prompts this week. I have my own interpretation, but I look forward to hearing your views.